What's up, YouTube? It's PCS in here. Excuse me, got something in my throat. Today I'm going to be making a video kind of discussing, you know, sort of what you can expect from your first Zippo, and I get, how to set it up and, how to use it and some of the different parts of it and such. Excuse me. I don't know what's going on with my throat right now. I do have a video up on this already, but, I want to actually redo it with a new Zippo, and plus the one that I have from earlier isn't all that good. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so this is my my newest Zippo. This is my the one I actually got this today. If you can see right here, if you look at the back of it, in most cases you'll see your model number right here. This is if you have it in one of these black boxes. If you maybe go to Walmart, or if you get one from like Rite Aid, or if you get one in older packaging, then the model will be somewhere else. But if you're interested in knowing the model, it's located back here, at least on the black boxes. So yeah, and this one happens to be model number 169, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so anyways, let's go ahead and check it out. So here we go. It's my newest, my new Zippo. So, this is probably what you're going to find. This is probably what you're, I'm assuming this is probably going to be what your first setup is, unless if, again, you get your first one from, like, Walmart or something, which I would recommend you do, because the ones from Walmart are really cheap, and, yeah. Now, one thing I would like to point out here, if you look right there, I don't need to focus on that, it says it's an armor case, alright? So, this is probably going to be a little bit different from your first one. I wouldn't exactly think that your first Zippo would be an armor case, but, this is the one that, I have, so we're just going to go with it. So, yeah, this is a little bit, at least in terms of the, the casing, it's a little bit thicker and a little bit, I guess, it's a little stronger than, in fact, it says back here. This thing right here, by the way, you'll only get this when you get the brass models. This is a brass Zippo, as you might be able to see. So, yeah, if you get one of these ones with exposed brass, you're going to get one of these things. Care of your Zippo brass lighter. And it just gives you some basic tips on how to take care of your finish. So, just take a look back here. You can see, you can read all that. It's kind of hard to read out loud. Honestly, it's kind of a tongue twister. And then, over there it just says congratulations, and then back here it's just them raving on about their success, which is okay. I mean, I don't see a problem with that. But it says back here, again, going back to the armor case, the distinctive symbol on the bottom stamp within the case's letters, heavy walled armor. The armor case is about 1.5 times as thick as a standard Zippo case, which means that this little casing here that the insert's in is actually going to be a little bit thicker than most Zippos. In fact, I have my other user Zippo right here, my other main user. This is a standard Zippo, and it's got some, this is probably going to be about anyway, you get the idea. So, sorry if I go all over the place. I haven't really had the best day in the world, but I'm starting to feel a little bit better, so whatever. Anyway, let's go ahead and start by opening the Zippo. Something that you should know is that when you go to peel off these stickers, and I can't believe I actually noticed this when I got my first Zippo, but I kind of forgot it, but whatever. Start peeling from the bottom, because the bottoms are not glued. Okay, the tops, you're not going to be able to get it very easily. They're obviously adhered to the top. So, peel the sticker off from the bottom. That's where it's easiest. And peel it off slowly, because then you won't have to or at least, if you peel it off slowly, in most cases you won't have to mess around with glue gun. Although I have had one Zippo in particular, where even though I peeled it off slowly, I still had to use quite a bit of glue gun on it. But, as you can see, if you're just careful with it, you can get a nice clean peel. I think, nope, we don't really have anything on there. Okay, and what I like to do with my stickers is I like to put them on the back of the case, right there, just so that way I can keep up with them, just so that way I don't lose them. I am a Zippo collector after all, so, I do like to keep up with my stickers and such. And the price tag, I'll also put next to this sticker, so that way I know how much it costs. Alright, And I mainly do this when I, have a Zippo that I'm planning on mostly displaying, because I do like to take my stickers off so I can have the full effect and the full look, and so I can check the insert and such, but whatever. Anyways, so, there we go. The Zippo has been undressed of its stickers. Now, upon the first opening, alright, now that's one thing I'm going to note. My camera is going to muffle the sounds a little bit, so you're not really going to hear that Zippo sound. I mean, this... to me, that sounds like what a Zippo should sound like, but to you guys, it's probably going to sound a little different, because my camera likes to muffle it. But especially with armor Zippos, if you decide to get an armor Zippo, the click is not the same. It's a little bit more muffled, okay? Alright, and the same thing goes if you have a Zippo with a pewter emblem on it, or some sort of emblem on it. Basically, if you have something on your Zippo that's weighing down the lid, if your lid is going to be a little bit heavier than a traditional Zippo lid, like this one, this is a, there's nothing really, I mean, the only difference about this lid compared to another Zippo is that it's kind of squared off because it's a 1937 replica, but, it's, it's not really any heavier than a standard Zippo lid, so, therefore you do get the full ping effect, so... Keep that in mind. Mine is going to sound a little bit different than what you're probably used to. Good thing there's a user. Because it is an armor Zippo. Alright, so that's just so you know. Anyway, as you can see, mine has a brass insert. If you get a if you get a brass finished Zippo or a Zippo with, that's mostly brass. I mean, all Zippos, including this one, are made of brass, but, this one is just a Zippo that was left brass, if you know what I mean. Like, these are, the way Zippos usually are, just real quickly, this is a brass lighter, but it's been coated in, it's been plated in chrome, okay? And, it's got this, I guess it's like a stainless steel, sheet metal insert or something, I don't know. But, yeah, this is probably, again, the type of Zippo you're going to get first. It's going to be one of these chrome models. It is brass on the inside if you take a look at it. I'm sorry, I am going everywhere with this video. I do apologize. I'm just trying to get everything out there. But you do see in there that it is made of brass. But what they do is, this is a brass case, but then they plated it in chrome. So that's why it looks like it's, made of chrome as opposed to brass. But believe me, all Zippos, unless if they're from, like, World War II or Vietnam War, which you're probably not going to get first, because those are really expensive and hard to find. But yeah, all Zippos are made of brass. Unless if unless if it's like a copper Zippo, obviously it'll be made of copper. Or if it's like a gold Zippo, there's solid gold Zippos out there, it'll be made of gold. So, yeah. Anyways. Oh, you get the idea. Man, this video is just going everywhere. I do apologize. Anyway. So this here's the insert. I'm going to give you guys a quick anatomy lesson on the Zippo lighter because I'm sure y'all would like to know that, just so you know the different parts of a Zippo and such. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Alright, so just real quickly, in terms of the exterior, this is your lid, this right here. Obviously this is your lid, what I'm wiggling. Alright, and then this lower portion is your body, okay? That's your hinge. Your modern day Zippo. Your modern day Zippo is going to have a 5-barrel hinge, as you can see if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So it's got a 5-barrel hinge, okay? If you get a 1941 replica or, some sort of replica Zippo, unless if it's a 1937 replica, because it also has a 5-hole chimney, or a 5-hole hinge. But my 1941 replica has a 4-barrel hinge, just so that, because, that's the way they were in 1941. So, anyways. But, nowadays you're going to get Zippos with, again, unless it's like a 1941 replica or something, you're going to get them with a 5-barrel hinge. Alright, now in terms of the insides, let's take a look at that. In terms of the insides, this right here is your spark wheel. Alright, this wheel right here is your spark wheel. Some people call it a flint wheel, or I've even heard it called a flywheel. Although I don't really hear that very often, but I call it a spark wheel. Actually, I use flint wheel and spark wheel interchangeably. And speaking of flint, you see this? Let me get a card here so I can get some contrast. Take a look. It's still kind of hard to see, but if you can see that thing that's sort of touching, Do I have like a flashlight nearby or something? If you see back behind here, that actually works out really nicely. Actually, I like this method. If you see back behind the flint wheel there, what's you know, that little tiny rod right there that's, you know, touching the bottom of the flint wheel? That is your flint, all right? And what that does is that when you spin the spark wheel or the flint wheel, it creates a spark. You know, it creates a flint. And I could get into how it works, but I'm not going to because it's kind of technical. But yeah, that's basically, you know, that little tiny rod, you know, that you can see right there, you know, that's, you know, touching the bottom of the flint wheel. That is your spark wheel, or excuse me, that's your flint. That's the thing that produces your sparks. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you can gain access to that, because obviously that will wear out over time as you spark it and use it, and you'll eventually need to replace it. Okay, and just a little jump ahead there. Here's some flints inside of a little flint dispenser. All right, so you know, that's your flint. This big thing right here with the chimneys, or excuse me, with the holes, is called your chimney. Derp. You know, with it's a 16-hole chimney. If you count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and since it's replicated on the back, it's gonna, you know, 8 times 2 is 16. So yeah, this is your chimney. This is some people also call it the windshield, because it's what gives the Zippo its windproof quality, or its windproof feature. You know, so that way when, you know, wind blows, you know, over, you know, when you're using the Zippo in the wind, it's going to protect the main part of the flame from wind, and it's going to be harder to blow it out. You can blow Zippos out easily with your breath, but believe me, they can withstand a lot of just wind, alright? You know, if you intentionally try and blow it out, you'll probably succeed, but if you actually hold it up to a fan, or, you know, go outside when it's pretty windy out and light it, you'll be amazed, believe me. So anyways, they do not kid around when they say it is a windproof lighter. Now this piece right here is called your cam. Okay. Now what the cam does is when your Zippo is open like this. When your Zippo is open like this, it does not. Your lid stays open. Okay. As you can see, the lid is not going to shut. All right. But when you close the lighter, the lid won't flop open. Alright, that's the purpose of the cam. And the way the cam works, if we take the insert out, slightly tight. The way that the cam works is that if you watch right here, if I push up on the cam a little bit like this, you know, if I push it up slowly, it's eventually going to snap like that. You saw it, how it just snapped into place. And it'll also do it this way. It's a little harder to do it this way. It's a little more awkward, but eventually, boom, it snaps down. Alright, that's how it works. So, you know, there's a lot of resistance when you're trying to push it this way. Okay, a lot of resistance. But eventually, when you hit that one sweet spot, which is kind of right in the middle, it's just gonna slam into the chimney. Alright, and that's also what produces the Zippo sound. I'm gonna try and see if I can get it to you. I bet if I hold it far away from the microphone, you might hear it. You know, that's what produces that sound. You know, the cam bashing against the back of the, you know, the back of the lid, you know, that's how you get that sound. When it hits it like that, you know, the lid will resonate a little bit, and that's what produces the sound. Okay? So, and it also is what gives it that nice authoritative snap when you shut it. You know, that nice sound. Alright? So, that's basically the anatomy, although let me show you this here. This is your insert, alright, this whole piece, you know, as you already know, comes out. This is your insert, okay? And again, like I said, mine is a brass insert. Yours is probably going to be a chrome insert if you get one that's not, you know, not a brass model. But anyways, taking a look at the bottom, you might see something a little bit surprising. This is something that, you know, I didn't know when I wanted to get. You know, when I was little, I really wanted to get a Zippo, but I wasn't allowed to. But I had no idea that, you know, I was thinking this was like some sort of butane lighter, but it's actually not. It's actually a lighter fluid lighter, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to fill it in a little bit. All right, but this right here, is your lift to fill, and this is actually felt. All right. Now, something you might note is that my text is red, and I'm assuming that, you know, if you're watching this video soon, you know, within like maybe 1 or 2 years after this video's been posted. You might be wondering, why is his text red? Because mine is black. That's because this year, 2012, Zippo actually changed the color from black to red. So, yeah, that's why my text is red. In fact, this Zippo has the black text, because this insert was, well, you can't really see it, but if I lift this up, you can see it. Lift to fill, it's in black. That's because this insert was made in 2011. But in 2012, they switched to this red color. Now, if we take a look under the felt pad, and usually with these newer Zippos, it's kind of harder to do. Let me try this. Let me just use, I know, it's a crazy looking pin, huh? Under the felt pad, what in the world is that? Right. It's basically cotton, although it's actually technically called rayon. It's a synthetic cotton. But that's actually where your fluid goes. That is what you saturate. This is what the fluid will saturate when you fill it. And that's what absorbs the fluid. Alright? So this is actually a wick lighter. In fact, speaking of wick, there's the wick right there. In the very middle of the chimney is your wick. Okay? Just like a candle, it works just like a wick in a candle does. It's so, well, I mean, kind of, But basically what happens is that, when you fill it, the wick will get saturated in lighter fluid, and then when you spark it, you're going to ignite the vapors that are coming off of the wick, and that's how you'll get your flame. Okay, so that's basically how the Zippo works. All right, it's a very, very simple concept. It's not some crazy butane lighter, unless it's a Zippo blue. If it's a Zippo blue, then it is a butane lighter, and you want to make sure you get butane fuel. But anyway, that is that. Next thing I want to show you guys, just real briefly, is if you're wondering how old your Zippo is, alright? If you're wondering how old your Zippo is, what you can do is you can take a look at the bottom of the bottom stamp here. Now this is the special, mine is already scratched. That's unfortunate. Actually, I don't think that is a scratch. I think that's just the grain in the finish. Like, my brass has that sort of lines there. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, taking a look at the bottom here, you'll see, you've got the Zippo, and mine is an armor, so it's got this special armor bottom stamp. Okay, but the main thing I want to pay attention to here is the letter on the left and the number on the right, alright? The letter indicates the month. Now you might be thinking, okay, D, that would mean December, right? Wrong. What's the month right now? At least this video is posting if you take a look in the description. That's right, it's August, so there's no way this is made in December. So you might be wondering, well, okay, what does the D mean then? The D actually stands for March. Actually, does it? Yeah, it stands for April. Sorry, it stands for April. And the way you can tell, this is how I do it. If I'm not really certain as to what the letter represents, so what I do is I will go A, B, C, D. All right, I count up to the I count up to the letter basically. A, B, C, D. Boom. Stop. 4. Okay. What's the 4th month of the year? January, February, March, April. Okay. That is how you can date your insert. Alright? Or that's how you can date your Zippo. And that's also how you date your insert, in fact, because it's just the same thing. But, yes, that is what this letter means. So, April. And the number over here indicates the year, which is, in this case, is a 12. So, you could assume, and you'd be correct in assuming this, that means 2012. Now, if you get an older Zippo, or if you get a Zippo that maybe, is passed down from generation to generation, it might be a little bit less obvious to date it, because you might have a Roman numeral here, or you might have like some dots and dashes and all that fun stuff. If you get a Zippo like that, then you'll need to refer to a dating chart, okay? And you can actually get a dating chart if you send your Zippo in for repair. They will actually send you one that you can fit in your wallet, which is really nice. In fact, is my wallet in here? It is. Perfect. I'll show you the one that I got when I sent one of my Zippos in for repair. Here's my wallet. And inside my wallet I have, if you'll give me a second, let me look for it. This. So Zippo dating chart, alright? Right here, alright, so here it is, pocket dating code guide. Here's some Zippo Slim things, but on the back here you can see, this is what you might find, on some of your older Zippos, and, way over here is what we have today, but, you can sort of take a look at that. If you want one of these when you send a Zippo in for repair, when you send a Zippo in for repair, they'll actually send you one of these back, and they'll send you your Zippo all repaired such and too, but they'll send you a few other little goodies. Mostly like, a catalog and such like that. But one of the things that they'll send you is this. So that's pretty cool. This is actually really nice. I don't really need to use it yet, but I did actually use it once because someone showed me one of their older Zippos at work, and I was able to determine that his Zippo was made in 1994, which is pretty cool. So, yes, anyway, that be that. Alright, so, yes, and in terms of dating the insert, like I said, it's the same thing. Pop the insert out, set this down. If you take a look right there, you can see, and this is the side if you have the cam on the left and the wheel on the right. You can see right here, Zippo Manufacturing Company, Bradford, Pennsylvania, E12, okay? E, again, A, B, C, D, E, 5. What's the 5th month of the year? January, February, March, April, May. So this was made in May of this year. Alright, May of 2012. Okay? And then Zippo made in USA. They also they changed the text down here from made in Zippo USA to Zippo made in USA. They changed that, they changed the text of that last year, which is pretty interesting. Okay, I'm going to change the battery of my camera because there's a blinking, and then I guess I'll show you guys how you can go about filling your Zippo, because I'm sure that's something you'd like to know. So, yes. Okay, so, I have some new batteries in my camera. Now we're going to learn about filling the Zippo, because that's very important, obviously, if you're planning on using one. So, how does this work? Well, first of all, you need to know what kind of fluid you need to get, because like I said, this is not a butane lighter. This is a lighter fluid lighter. So naturally, you need to get lighter fluid, which this is. This is lighter fluid, okay? So here as you can see, this is actually an 80th anniversary edition bottle, because 2012 is Zippo's 80th anniversary, obviously. Well, not obviously, but it is. And as you can see, it actually literally will say lighter fluid on it, okay? Now in this case, I have Zippo brand fluid. If you don't, you can use any brand lighter fluid you want to. But you gotta make sure it's lighter fluid. Don't buy butane. Excuse me, do not buy butane. Butane will come in in a cylindrical can. In a cylindrical, aerosol can, because it's under pressure, okay? If you listen to this, this is a liquid, okay? This is a liquid. Butane is a gas, okay? And I know that when you fill a butane lighter with it, it kind of turns into a liquid, but that's because it's, you've got the little bits of butane particles in there, but they're all under pressure, so therefore, I don't really know. It kind of gets compacted into a liquid, but believe me, butane is gas, okay? Butane is a gaseous fuel. This is a liquid fuel, okay? I could take this and pour it, okay? As opposed to, butane, where I have to turn it and then press down on the can to spray it, okay? So this, you do not, again, don't buy butane because it will not work in your Zippo, alright? This, just like this won't work in a butane. So, anyway, that being said, let's go ahead and do this. So, step 1 of filling a Zippo is open the lid, okay? And then pull the insert out, okay? And then what I like to do is I like to flip my cam up, and then I turn it upside down, just like that. So the cam is now on the right. Assuming your hinge is on the left, your cam is now on the right. Or excuse me, your lid, well, whatever. Yeah. Then I actually put it into the case, like this. Okay, there we go. Now, what I do is I'll take the lid of my Zippo, just like this, and I'll get it in there, like that. And I'll use it to sort of pry up on the nozzle of the bottle. And there, I got it. You might need to do it a few times, but, eventually you'll get it. So there we go. Got the bottle open. So don't spill it. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, since it's a brand new Zippo, I'm going to need to use some sort of a tool to get this out. But eventually, as I've demonstrated with this one, eventually as you keep progressively use the Zippo, it's going to be, eventually the cotton is going to swell up a little bit inside, and it'll be a little bit easier to pull this back by hand. But, when the Zippo is brand new, it's very compacted, it's very well compacted together, so it's a little bit sunken in, in most cases. So, I'm just going to take this pin here, just going to pull that up, just like that. Alright, and there we go. Now, using my index finger on my left hand, I'm just going to pull this back so it doesn't get in the way. And now here's what I'm going to do. Let me see if I can get you guys a good sort of shot of what I'm about to do here. I might need to angle you guys upwards a little bit. So, what I'm going to do, actually here, let me make sure that I stay in frame. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my Zippo just like I am right now. I'm going to hold my can of lighter fluid like I am right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it, I'm going to put the nozzle on the edge of the insert like this. Alright, and then I'm going to turn it until it wants to start coming out. Alright? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze it. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to stop and I'm going to wait for 5 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Then we're going to do it again. Alright? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I don't know if you can see the fluid going into the Zippo or anything, but I guarantee you it is when I'm tipping it like that. I can see it going in at least. But anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, ordinarily, I would suggest stopping here because if you go any further, you might overfill it. But if you really dry up your Zippo, like if your Zippo just is not even trying to light, it's so dried up, or if it's brand new, or if you haven't used it for a little while, go ahead and do it for a third time. All right, but the reason, if the flame's just getting kind of low and you want to have a nice big flame, only do stop here. But I'm gonna just do it one more time. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So you want to make sure that you do not see the actual, level of where the fluid is. You don't actually want to be able to see it rising above the cotton. If you see that, you've definitely overfilled it. All right, and I would not recommend carrying it that day because it will, if it gets all over your pocket, it might give you a chemical burn if it gets on your leg and such. So don't overfill it. But like I said, for the first fill, do it 3 times, and for subsequent fills, I recommend doing it twice, unless if you really dry it up and it just doesn't even try to light, or maybe it lights for very little time. Anyways, let's go ahead and put this back down. All right. And we're going to flip this back around, just like so. Alright, and if you take a look at that wick, it's a little bit soaked up. The wick has been a little bit saturated. So let's flip the cam down. Alright, let's just close it. Alright, now, I've got my can closed. Make sure you close your can. That's a habit I'm really not that into. Make sure that there's no fluid on your hands. In my case, I actually don't have any. There's no fluid on the lighter. There's no fluid on the ground. Nope. Alright, so in that case, and spark. And there you go. First lights. Alright, so there you go. That's how you fill it. So yeah, there you go. Perfectly functional. Alright, I forgot to show you the flint, how to gain access to the flint. So I'm going to do that really quickly. I know this video has been kind of going on for a little while, but anyway, here we go. Real quickly, first thing I'm going to do to gain access to the flint, I'm going to open the Zippo and make sure the insert's not that hot. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the insert out. Alright, and if you look on the bottom, I'm just going to put it in the bottom of the case because it is freshly filled. I don't really want it dripping everywhere. If you take a look at the bottom here, you'll see you have a screw. Alright, let me macro in on that. Alright, you see you have this flathead screw. Now sometimes these you can unscrew them by hand, but I can't. So you can either use the lid of your Zippo case, although I really don't like doing that much, but I have kind of done it with this one a little bit, so I'll just use this one. But I would actually suggest that you use a coin, like a quarter or something, or even a penny to do it. So just get it loose. Oh, there we go. Alright, and then the way you get access to your flint is you just unscrew it the rest of the way. By the way, that cut right there came from a vending machine. Alright, there you go. Now this right here is your little flint screw assembly. You've got a flint screw at the tip right there, followed by a flint spring. And then this is your spacer. Something you need to know, in fact, let me just go and do this real quickly. Once you have, that whole little assembly out, you can just tip like this, and your flint will come out. Right there. Alright. Your flint is right here. Okay. Now, one thing I want to show you is that if you compare this to the spacer, they do look quite similar. This is not a flint, okay? This does not produce sparks, okay? This is not your flint. This is your flint, okay? You know, obviously the little flint piece. Okay, and as you can see, there's the side that I have been striking when I lit it. So, anyways, let's put it back in, struck side down. Okay, and so yeah, just keep in mind that this little spacer here is not a flint. That is a spacer that, you know, gives the spring a little bit of, it helps in terms of putting pressure down on that flint, against the spark wheel, so you can spark it consistently. So, there you go. Boom. My new carry Zippo. I'm going to be using this one for a little bit. I'm going to give my 1937 replica a break. So yeah, I mean, not that you have to give it a break. It's just, I just wanted to get a new. I actually really wanted you to just get a brass lighter to carry. I figured it'd be kind of interesting to get an armor one. And I'm gonna do it. I'm actually eventually gonna, a little bit later, not today, but I will be doing a review actually on the armor Zippos because, they're a little bit different. There's a few minor details about them that are a little bit different, and I mean, it is a little bit heavier than a standard Zippo. It's actually, this is, with it full completely, it's actually significantly heavier than this one. So, but yeah, I definitely do enjoy my armor Zippos. I do have one more, actually. It's a bolted armor, although I put it back in my display case. But if you refer to the video where actually, if you refer to my video where I show this Zippo, in my new, or whatever, the previous video, then you'll see it, because I have it shown in there. So anyways, that's it. So there you go. In terms of keeping a flint under the felt pad, some people like to do that. I don't. I tried it with this one once, and I lost the flint. It completely disappeared when I needed to replace it. So I don't really do that. I just, if I, these flints, they do last for quite a while, so, I don't really worry about it that much. But anyways, there you go. So yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If there's anything that I forgot, or if you have any questions, any other questions that I might not have covered, go ahead and ask them in a comment, and I or somebody else will try and get to you. So there you go. Thank you guys for watching, and adios.